All right, I guess it's filming. All right, guys, here's the. Stacy and I have been kind of low profiling it for a little while, um, but here's the latest, and I don't even know where to start. YouTube journey. No secret that I'm fat, and that's kind of what how I stumbled against Carl, and of course we all know how that shit turned out. But bringing things, well, not even forward. My whole life since about my mid to mid 20s, I started gaining weight, and I just didn't matter how hard I rode, how hard I trained, how much mountain bike time I spent, how much time I spent watching what I eat. Growing up with that food pyramid, I finally found out that most of that shit was a lie. And, I didn't realize it. Surfing, mountain biking, racing motocross, the road bike, the road racing, single track mountain biking, urban assault rides on the downhill bike, just putting in miles. When I was younger, I was a roadie. Preparing to go into the Navy. I was super fit, but I was still pretty young. And I start gaining weight, and it's just frustrating. The thing has been always frustrating. And then when I had the back injury, I could no longer surf and paddle and especially ride the mountain bike. I always thought there was a time, cross training with the mountain bikes, I used to bitch and say I hate it. I'd rather burn 2 tanks of gas out of the 500 and just deal with the maintenance on the bike. But now that I couldn't do it anymore, I really missed single track mountain biking, especially my Kona full suspension bike. Heavy but fun. Didn't matter what I did. My dad was a monster of a man growing up. Veiny, huge. I don't know what that Canadian guy's name is that kind of stars in all these movies now, and King of Thrones guy. If you chopped off his head, and my dad is kind of a pacifist guy, but when I grew up, you could put my dad's head on that dude and make him a little paler, and that's what my dad looked like. He was huge hands, huge biceps, veiny, but he was ate up with diabetes. My granddad, handsome guy, ate up with diabetes. My biological mother was a fat girl. She grew up gaining weight, got gastro bypass surgery. Of course, I find all this out after the fact. And she gained the weight back after gastro surgery, and then because of her weight gain, she ended up dying because of surgery complications due to the gastro blockage in her intestine. But she is where I got the fat gene, and so somewhere along the line, I'm still racing and training, and can't figure out why I'm so damn heavy, which structurally I'm heavy anyways. But why can't I lose the fat? Oh, it's been frustrating. And then my doctor, he hands me a sheet, Mayo Clinic, right? Eat steak, eat bacon, eat eggs. And I remember looking at that shit without the science, and I was like, long time ago. This is a long time ago. He goes, you're healthy as a horse. You ought to be playing in the NFL. I said, well, no shit. I mean, I'm 6'3", 350 pounds, and can run backwards up an extension ladder. Well, whatever. So he hands me this diet, and I'm reading this shit, and I was trying it for a while, and I said, if I eat this every day, I'm going to die. My veins are going to clog up like old diesel oil, and that's going to be it for me. I'm going to drop dead. So I kind of went back to the old, try that 6 meals a day, little meals, a lot of this. It's all bullshit. Every bit of it I'm learning now because of YouTube. I'm not, you guys, any of our minimal subscribers know that I'm not a huge computer internet guy. But where it really fell is my friend Angela, the realtor. she got her a new boyfriend, and she, you know, getting serious, and she wanted to drop some weight. She's on the internet all the time. So we go over there for a dinner party, and she's trying to pass off these paleo brownies on me. I spit that shit out. I said, I'm not eating that. It was
gross.
It was
the most nastiest tasting brownie of
horrible.
all time.
So any talk about that nonsense, I was negative. Well, then I didn't see her for a while, and she was, you know, getting ready to move to upstate New York. And she comes by, and she had lost some weight. And then she starts singing in my ear about that whole, you know, low carb. And the biggest thing she really got in my ear that I listened to was the intermittent fasting. And I said, well, you know, I'm kind of a breakfast person, but I can do it because I think food ought to be a sport, but it's not for me. Never has been, never will be. I like pizza, French fry, I like all that stuff, but I can't truly have it. And when I do, you pay for it. So she had lost some weight, and she's filling my ear through all this stuff she'd been looking on the internet and talking to her doctor and blah, 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 blah. So time passes by. Billy comes down here for a visit. You guys may or may not have seen that video. And I looked at myself getting out of his truck down at Salt Life, and I said, that is enough. That, you know, when you live in it every day, it's not a huge thing. I have a physical job. I feel like I'm doing my job. I'm sweating it out. A lot of my, you know, hard sports and crashing that dirt bike at speed. You know, I feel like I'm paying for some of that stuff now. My hips were hurting. You know, I'm just hurting all the time. And not to mention my back. The back I live with, I can't do nothing about that. But I watched that video and I said, you fat son of a bitch. You seriously? So I took in the back of my mind what Angela was telling me, and I started researching. Of course, YouTube, the great tool, and I started finding these doctors and all these people now that are on board about that ketogenics, that keto diet. And I started researching it, and I'm not going to claim to be any kind of an authority on it. I am really just taking bits and pieces from what these people are saying, and so far it's been working. So I've been kind of heavy at it for about 3 weeks, and I promise you in that video I was 450 plus. And unless I go to the scrapyard and jump on their scale or something, very difficult to weigh me unless I go see my doctor, which I have to go in about 3 weeks anyways. But in about 3 weeks, I'd estimate I've probably dropped 20-25 pounds since that video. But here's the more important thing. I feel fantastic. And by getting the education, and anybody that hits this video and watches my fat ass, I'm going to start monitoring what I'm eating, and I'm going to post it, because I'm not the Johnny Fit guy that shaves my chest and stands in front of a camera and tells you about this is what you should eat and this is what you shouldn't eat. I'm a 55-year-old dude that's had a weight problem his whole life. That was an athlete. So this is going to be kind of real, and I now have the education, and I've always been semi-determined to drop this weight, and it's coming off. My eyes were squinting up, my face was all fat, you know, and I'm like, Jesus, you know, now, you know, my face is thinning down, things are happening, and I don't care if I turn into a half-empty balloon with a dude inside of it. It's better than being fat. So
I love you no matter what.
Thanks, baby. That's my sexy wife. But anyways, research these people and go in your refrigerator and start throwing some shit out. Because when I started really finding out the documented truths, not just some crazy person on the internet, all those oils you have in your cupboard, Wesson oils, peanut oil, grapeseed oil, toss all that shit out. What it takes to make that stuff and what they got to do to it to make it palatable for you to eat, and what it does to your body. Now, if you're one of these skinny guys that can can eat a cast iron skillet and a whole pecan pie and never feel the effects of it, this is not for you. But if you're fat or you got 25 pounds to lose, you got, research. The guy I really like, he's a dude from Tennessee. His name is Dr. Barry. There's another female. Her name is Dr. Boz. They got great channels, and it'll start feeding you in. There's a real skinny guy that used to be a fat kid. His name is it's Keto something. But you'll find him because he talks a lot, but he draws pictures and shows you the science of what your cells are doing and the inflammation and all the problems it's been causing you your whole life. And eating a high-fat diet will not hurt you. Bacon, eggs, steak.
It's mainly watching carbs and sugar.
It's really about carbs and sugars. There's a lot of vegetables. I never thought an onion could hurt you, but it can. There's a lot of
spring onion, but not.
Well, I mean, there's carb values to all this stuff, and I think one of those comments where these doctors say that's why Weight Watchers is having such a hard time now, because this ketogenics, the keto shit is hurting them, because that shit is a yo-yo diet, that, like everybody's talked about. But once you set your body up to where it's making ketones, which my body has always developed too much insulin. It puts it in my fatty liver. My fatty liver stores that energy in fat cells, and I got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger no matter what I ate. Now I'm past the grumbelly part of intermittent fasting. Hell, we were real active the weekend we went to the woods, and I didn't really eat anything. Matter of fact, I didn't eat anything for 36 hours. We were so busy, and I'm not hungry anymore. And the little brief moment that my stomach tells me I'm hungry and my mind tells me I'm hungry, it goes away. I haven't even tried the hacks. I have still yet to eat one piece of bacon because there's so many foods that in the food group that you should be eating that I like anyways, it doesn't make any difference. Like I always thought, don't eat so many avocados. Well, avocados are good fat. And you hear these things, just research it. And if you give half a darn, watch a fat boy drop some weight. The back thing isn't gonna really go away, but it might get better if I lose this other dude that I've been carrying around with me, or two dudes. Like I called Billy this morning. We were talking. He went in his cupboards and took peanut oil, Wesson oil, all that oil shit, even the grapeseed oil he had. He took it out to the burn pit and lubricated some fire logs with it. I'm telling you, Stacy has been criminally bad about bad foods, and I'm trying to get her on board just a little bit.
I can't give up my cereal.
Jesus.
And what else is it?
When I first met her, she would go grocery shopping, and she's like buying this Cocoa Crispy stuff, and I'm like, what are you, 5? And she goes, oh, I love these. I was always a Raisin Bran, Wheaties. I do like Tony the Tiger. I mean, if you're going to pound down some sugar, don't eat any of that shit. Don't eat no corn.
It's sugar snacks. Man.
Listen, refined sugar, don't eat any of that horse shit. Just if you want to lose weight, go to these other people that are going to tell you all these programs. But I'm going to start showing you what I'm eating on a more regular basis. And like I said, I'm not going to be a thin guy sitting in front of a camera talking about what you should be eating. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you the weight loss. And I don't have a ton of subscribers, but this is all part of our journey to either get on the boat or do something. And I felt in my heart that I could not risk Stacy's life jumping on a boat and heading for Hawaii and not being in a little bit better physical condition. And that's what's going to happen. And I'm gonna drop this extra dude because it's working.
And your energy levels went up a little bit.
That was driving her crazy.
Sleep at night.
I was driving. Oh, the sleep. I used to get up. That's one of the biggest things. That my inflammation in my lower legs. Now my left one, because of the broken injury and the plate in there, that's always going to swell a little bit. But I'm sleeping and getting up once in the middle of the night to pee. So
instead of every hour
So sometimes I'm getting up every 2 hours is really the regular, but it depends if I drink a lot of water now. Now my body's just using it. And most importantly, look up the fasting, the intermittent fasting. If you eliminate, that one guy said, if you eliminate these sugars and this oil, that's worth 25 pounds. So that's our Tickle Me Fin update. I hope you guys research it like I finally took the time to do, because I feel I'm already cantankerous anyways and wanting to scrap around and do stupid shit anyways. But now I'm driving Stacy crazy. We were running around the campsite out there in the woods, hacking up firewood. I'm splitting up wood at the house. I haven't continuously swung a split maul in years, and I'm using it for exercise I'm going to go back and join a gym and start working out, because I am no stranger to the gym, because that was one of my tools to try to keep things in check. And if I can drop some more of this weight and see how my back feels, I'm going to pull the mountain bikes out of the back garage, and I'm going to take them over to Mike and have him tune them up. And I would like to get back on the saddle and start turning the pedals. More fun.
I'm not becoming a roadie.
No.
I refuse.
No.
I'd rather do bicycle trails at Hannah Park.
That's all you're gonna do. You're not gonna be a roadie. We're not putting on all that tight shit. And no, this is not the Le Mans.
Okay. Thank goodness. Love you guys.
But we used to do that on fat tires and piss them all off. But anyways, that's where we've been. We did not get a muzzleload hunt in. Had issues with the truck. And Stacy wasn't too worried about it. I wasn't too worried about it. Today is the last day in Osceola Forest. So we're not worried about it. General Gun starts on November 9th. She had more fun camping, and we had so much fun goofing around out there and breaking out the old camping stuff and setting that up that I was a dummy and didn't take any video. Stupid. Dumb for the gum. All right, guys. Well, if you're interested, join me. Join us and watch me lose a dude, man. I could lose Billy. Let's see. Billy's about 180 pounds. My goal. The other thing I was telling Billy today.
Oh, Lord.
If you stick a fast food French fry in your mouth ever again, you're just playing Russian roulette. That's all I got to say. Take care, guys.